With Chelsea now clearly taking a superb lead in the attempt to land Moises Caicedo from Brighton, Arsenal are now planning to invoke their plan B. That man, Romeo Lavia, the Belgian international, is the man the Gunners are contemplating going for, and a bid is about to be tabled. Welcome to the hotspot. My name is Webb, and we're here to give you all the latest coming through in terms of transfer talks, speculations, and updates. And today we are talking mostly about none other than the Gunners, who have been busy since the opening, or rather since before the opening of the transfer window. Arsenal have been in business. Now, the latest coming through from the Gunners is that after their pursuit for Moises Caicedo seemingly took a new twist with the Brighton player born in Ecuador, the holding midfielder, one of the hottest in that role in the world today, opting probably to go to Chelsea. Arsenal had a plan B in place, and that's the man they looked at, or you do call him a boy. He's a 19-year-old player born in Belgium. His name is Romeo Lavia. Now, the latest that is coming through now is that Arsenal are putting together a bid for that youngster, who is in currently relegation because his Southampton team was relegated, and given his defensive midfield abilities, he's certainly not a relegation material. So Arsenal are hoping they can come and price him out of his misery and get him back to playing at the topmost level. Now, the 19-year-old has been one player who many clubs have been linked with, but of course he has not always been a first priority for any of them, because most of those that have been strongly wanting to find solutions in that holding midfield department. Now it seems now as things do turn clear that Moises Caicedo will be a blue sooner rather than later, Arsenal are contemplating making or tabling a bid for Lavia. Now, Lavia's current price on the market is around 40 million pounds, but of course Southampton can go below that, way below that, given the fact that they are relegated. They don't have so many options probably, and certainly Arsenal are expected, after taking back their bid for Declan Rice, and of course trying to push through a move for striker Kai Havertz, they are expected to go on and now go for their third player, because Arsenal has been clear. Mikel Arteta has been clear from the start on which positions he wanted to sort during this summer. So that's one player who is emerging now when it comes to Arsenal. He's a good player, energetic player, played 34 games for Southampton last season as they were relegated. A young, very energetic and very industrious footballer. Now remember, Arsenal have been focused on sorting their midfield. No wonder they made a record bid to sign that man, the captain from West Ham United, Declan Rice. It was rejected, £80 million. Now, West Ham value the player at £120 million, but Arsenal are not relenting. They are saying they do believe that West Ham can accept to come down and settle for something a little more than their a little less than their 120 million valuation of the player. So Arsenal have already prepared their second bid, which is believed to be about £100 million, which they are going to table again for Declan Rice sooner rather than later. And of course, they are quite certain that they will beat the likes of Manchester City, who are eyeing him as well, and of course Bayern Munich, to the signature of the West Ham captain. Now, the plan now is to bring in two midfielders. Remember, Declan Rice for Arsenal would mean a lot, because he's an industrious midfielder who can play both in attacking roles but also in holding roles, and because we've seen him do that at West Ham United. Of course, in the past season he was mostly playing deep, but you feel at Arsenal, if they got a good holding midfielder who can start games with him, certainly he will be playing a more advanced role. So that other holding midfielder Arsenal are looking at right now is that young man, Lavia from Southampton. So don't be surprised if Arsenal do sign two players, that is in the midfield role, Declan Rice and that young man, Lavia, with whom Edu has had conversations, according to reports that are coming through. Edu has had positive conversations with the player, and obviously it's a question of them deciding that they actually do want to go for him, and obviously Southampton would be wanting to cash in. The player certainly would want to come and play back at the topmost level following relegation of their team. Now, Arsenal as well, remember, have also got decisions to make concerning that player, Thomas Partey, because it is believed Arsenal are willing to take bids for him. They are willing to put him, make him available for sale. Of course, teams in Italy have been making inquiries about the availability of Thomas Partey, but of course, all that will depend on whether Arsenal gets their players. You believe, though, that if Declan Rice and maybe now Lavia do join Arsenal, certainly Thomas Partey could be put out on the market. Whereas he's among the players confirmed on the return list of Arsenal, that doesn't mean that he's immune to being cashed in or cashed out or sold out of the team. So that's Arsenal for you when it comes to the latest concerning them and their transfer. I like the fact that Arsenal has been clear and consistent. Clearly, Mikel Arteta knows the areas he wants to boost when it comes to his team. He knows which players he wants to clean out. Of course, we know that Granit Xhaka looks destined to join Bayer Leverkusen. Of course, again, the issues to do with Granit Xhaka are leaving finally, or of course, sort of depend on the players the Arsenal wants to bring in. You don't want to let go of certain good players, fairly good players who can, or decent players, when you can't actually convince other good or better players to come in. So again, they are still monitoring that. But the question is, will Arsenal get the two midfield options they want? The first two options they wanted were Declan Rice and Moises Caicedo, but it seems Caicedo chose Chelsea over Arsenal, and Chelsea are in advanced stages. Remember, both Chelsea and Arsenal did make bids for Caicedo at the in January at the start of the year, but both bids were rejected because Brighton had a plan. They wanted to go on and compete at the highest level and convince the player he can be available for sale after that season, which was a successful one, the most successful season in the history of Brighton, with that 21-year-old being, I think, one of their best, if not the best player for the club. Now, still talking Arsenal. Arsenal are interested certainly in a striker, and I've been talking about this for a long time, that Arsenal have been silent about a striker, but it was always glaring that they needed one. Now, that's the man they have been looking at. That is Kai Havertz. Now, Kai Havertz, of course, plays for Chelsea. He has been linked to Real Madrid as well. Now, the links and speculations in terms of interest from clubs have got Chelsea excited and almost overpricing him. But as it looks, it seems Kai Havertz wants to join Arsenal. Arsenal had personal conversations with the player, and he wants to join them. They made an initial bid for him, which was rejected by Chelsea upon arrival, and this bid for the 25-year-old, who has been, like I said, on the radar for Real Madrid, was a bid of believed to be worth £40 million, but the Blues are maintaining that their asking price for the player is 75 million. That's what they want for Kai Havertz, and Arsenal are not relenting. They do believe they can get Chelsea to cut down their asking price for the player, who certainly has not had a brilliant season, but also you feel, whereas Real Madrid have mentioned and been linked with him, I think with the new developments in the world of football, you don't think Real Madrid will really go into a bidding war, a battle to sign Kai Havertz with Arsenal. I don't think he's one of their priorities for me. But Arsenal are so intent on getting him to boost their attack that currently is being, handled mostly by Gabriel Jesus. So again, Arsenal are in business. So the three clear areas Arsenal do want to sort are the holding midfield department, boost their attack as well in terms of their creativity in the center of the park, but also the striking position. So those are the players they're looking at, and it has been confirmed that the board of Arsenal has accepted to back their manager, that is Mikel Arteta. Anyway, why wouldn't they, considering how he outperformed himself and everyone when it came to the league? In the last season, I think he did tremendously well, so you certainly have no reason to doubt in such a manager after showing you all that. So that's the situation. Now, of course, Manchester United as well is in the news. We spoke yesterday about how Manchester United were almost growing frustrated with the situation concerning Mason Mount. It seems Chelsea have listened and they are willing to cut down on their expectation from Manchester United when it comes to Mason Mount, and United are now back to plan A of tabling a new bid, an improved bid. Of course, the initial 40 million was rebuffed and rejected immediately by Chelsea. Chelsea wanting 70 million, United felt that was on the higher side, but as it is now, it seems United had verbal conversations with Chelsea, and they have been allowed to come and bring their improved bid, which most likely will be accepted, and sooner rather than later, Mason Mount could be joining Manchester United. So that's a bit of an update concerning Manchester United. United are now putting together a second bid that will be made in a short period from now for that 24-year-old English international Mason Mount. That's the situation. Chelsea, of course, in the market trying to sign players with their new coach, Mauricio Pochettino. They are busy, but before that, they have got to clean their house a bit and let go of a few. And of course, these are some of those they do want to let go of, or rather, the players who want to leave. It's mostly not Chelsea wanting to let go of them, but it is the players wanting to leave. Kai Havertz is convinced he wants to join Arsenal, whereas he was linked with Real Madrid and I think Bayern Munich at some point. He says he wants to join Arsenal. He has agreed on personal terms with the Gunners. Same thing with Mason Mount and Manchester United. But Chelsea are now becoming the block because they do want more for the players as they try to also go into the market and recruit more. But today, the biggest one, the latest update was concerning Latvia, and here you got it. That's the plan B for Arsenal, who they look at as the potential option should they completely fail in their purchase or in their hunt and pursuit of Moises Caicedo from Brighton, who looked destined to join Chelsea. That's the hotspot, and that's the transfer update concerning Arsenal. My name is Webb. Subscribe if you haven't. Let's keep talking transfers and, of course, following all the biggest clubs in the world right here on the hotspot.